leap of faith.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me I'm also Memphis.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network, where we discuss film, TV, and everything Hollywood related. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined, as always, with my co-host, Devin, the man himself. And on this episode, we're going to be reviewing the episode 3 of What If, which is titled, oh my gosh, I actually didn't write this down, but it is, what if the Avengers didn't assemble?
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes?
What if the world lost its mightiest heroes? That is exactly why Devin is here today, to save me from this fallen grace. But, Devin, how you been? You been good? Chilling?
Just another Wednesday.
Yeah, just another hump day Wednesday. I feel it, man. I feel it indeed. It's been crazy on my end as well, but hey, we're almost there. We're halfway through the week right now, and Candyman comes out, or we're seeing Candyman tomorrow.
Tomorrow, baby.
Yeah, I've been hearing some mix-esque review things here and there, but we'll get to it obviously when we watch it, but I'm very excited for it all the same. This is our second horror film that we're recording here in a row on the pod. Well, technically we had the Fear Street trilogy that we did earlier this year, but yeah, so this is our 5th horror film we're reviewing thus far. Candyman will be our 5th, technically. I think so.
Sounds right.
Yeah, because Fear Street 1, 2, and 3. And then The Night House, which is now on our podcast. Go check that out. And then Candyman next week. And then I'm assuming we'll do Halloween Kills. And then Last Night in Soho. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be really, really interesting. But before we begin today's review, everyone, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. And if you're a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram. Follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X, excuse me there. Been trying to be more productive on our actual Twitter page. So definitely follow us over there. It's, I've, like I said, this kind of fallen into like the comfort zone of like, I'll just push our content on mine because I do have quote unquote, I guess you can say greater following. I have more relationships over there, but you know what? We have a Twitter account for a reason, and we should use it to build a community and to share our films with all you wonderful listeners out there. So definitely go follow us over on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. But Devin, man, oh man, after we review our episode 3 review, just want to let everyone else know out there, we do have a few Spider-Man related topics to talk about after the review. So I guess we can call it the post-credit talk, whatever you want to call it. But we will be right back with our What If episode 3 review right after this short break.
Space. Time. Reality. It's more than a linear path. It's a prism of endless possibility.
Well, that doesn't sound ominous at all.
It's been really weird with us talking about at least the first 3 episodes, just because we've seen the first 3 prior. So we kind of just like sit on this information. But I am glad that I rewatched these episodes because it did give me a little bit more light and, kind of had me, figure out which ones I really, really liked and the ones that I wasn't super, super crazy about. But, yeah, it was just I'm glad that I rewatched episode 3 for 4. And of course,
I actually didn't do a rewatch this time.
Really? Oh, this just going off the memory bank from a few years.
I watched the new Rockstars breakdown, which is kind of like a rewatch.
Oh yeah, for sure. That and heavy spoilers. It's like, I mean, honestly, if you were fortunate enough to get screeners previously, because they did send out episode 1 through 3 screeners this time around, which I thought they were going to give us the first 3 episodes, but now they stuck to their guns and decided to do it weekly. And of course, this episode is actually starring Jeffrey Wright, as always, as a watcher. We have some nice household names in here. It's Tom Hiddleston's making his return as Loki. We have Mark Ruffalo, Samuel Jackson as well. And it's been pretty awesome. AC Bradley's one of the creators and writer.
Shocker, no Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah, okay. So these were recorded way, way, way before Black Widow even came out. So I saw some people on Twitter like, wow, they didn't get Scarlett to do hers. And it's like, honestly, she could have been busy with something else because we don't know when they recorded these lines or, when this show was in production. So it kind of makes sense where it's like, hey, because there was a lot. We didn't get Chris Evans for Steve Rogers. So it's like they could have just been busy with other projects during that time. But I do see the haha, but Disney did breach their contract. So let's, regardless of how much money that Scarlett Johansson has, they did breach the contract and she's getting that money. She's coming for what's hers, it's what's owed to her. Cause hey, you breached the contract. What else are you going to do? But, the story is always as followed during every single one of these What If episodes, exploring pivotal moments of the cinematic universe, turning them into their head, leading the audience into uncharted territory. And this one, episode 3, definitely took a huge dark turn overall. And man, oh man. Well, I'm gonna
we have a murder mystery on our hands here.
Oh, a murder mystery. Better call in the Knives Out crew. If you know what I mean.
It's like a donut.
Was his last name, what was it, Blanc? I think it was. I can't remember his full name. It's been a while since I watched the movie. But Daniel Craig's character, definitely get him in here. And it's time to start sniffing out the classic old whodunits. But I'm going to shut up here for a second and pass the torch over to Devin and let everyone know your initial thoughts on episode 3 of What If.
I thought it was overall a pretty interesting episode. Like I said, it's a murder mystery. It's kind of got some Seven vibes. I think there was a What's in the Box reference at some point by Fury, which was pretty funny. It's definitely a darker episode too. There's a lot of death going on. Like more so than you'd expect from the MCU. They went pretty dark here. It's not like this isn't your regular kids cartoon. Say you're not watching this Saturday morning with a bowl of cereal. Like there's some murder going on here, and it's pretty interesting. I don't know if I love the reveal of who it was. It felt kind of random, but it made sense at the end.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. This definitely was one of the more darker episodes, like we stated before. And it was like you said, there was a lot of deaths, but I kind of figured like Disney's okay with like characters dying. We see this all the time in like all of their classic movies, and Disney just loves.
What's the difference between dying and murder?
That is very true, but there's no blood, of course, in these episodes. So it's almost as if like we saw these characters die. We'll get into the spoilers here in a bit, but it's almost as if they could have happened off screen. But I'm glad that they didn't, just because that would have been like too kid friendly kind of thing. And it's like, okay, well, I guess you could say technically one of them really was an off screen death type deal, at which we'll get into here in a bit. But yeah, it was very, I do agree that the reveal, like at first I was trying to figure it out and I was like, okay, like it was a nice, like a cool reveal, but
they don't really give you any room to figure it out yourself.
No.
Because it just kind of pops up out of nowhere.
Literally pops up out of nowhere. But it like there was no setup for it. It's almost as if you would have to be caught up with the MCU as of now to understand who this character is.
Even
And-
then, it's just like they don't set up the events that caused this in the first.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that. It was very not lackluster, but it was kind of like, I mean, you got to take what you can give, and it was like, oh, okay. Like I thought it was. I mean, it could have been a lot worse, but it wasn't like the best reveal either.
I was putting together what was happening like in one of the first few kills, but I couldn't put together who and why. Like I got the what, but not the who and why.
Yeah. And also, it really seems like this episode or this entire series now, it's, especially with this is all about, recruiting the original Avengers in a different, multiverse. Obviously they kind of touch base on, like all the like Hulk and Black Widow and Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hawkeye, like they all, in our universe, they all banded together to, take down the big bad, which was Loki. But it definitely seems like with this episode, it seems like a team up is happening, but a different team up. And if you've seen like the promotional material, you can kind of already understand where that's coming from or like who's going to be there. But I like the way that they're going. I like the setup of what they're doing, because like it is essentially a retelling of the MCU, but like obviously events transpired differently. But I think they've done a pretty good job so far with making, not just, like I said before, not just role swapping, but like putting, last week with T'Challa being Star-Lord, it is like it now feels like, we have this other universe where, people love T'Challa as Star-Lord. And what he did for the universe between him and Thanos, and him being more like a Robin Hood character. With this one, like we said, it is that super dark, classic, like kind of whodunit, like that really weird, ominous mystery tale that they're here. And we see that with Mark Ruffalo making a return, kind of retconning a few things that they're able to do right now because
goodbye Edward Norton.
R.I.P. And yeah, with Chris Hemsworth and Loki making an appearance.
What if he shows up in one of these multiverse movies?
Who?
You just see Edward Norton in like like an alternate universe window.
Well, would he be Hulk or would he be somebody else?
No, he'd just be Edward Norton.
He would just be. Well, I mean,
They break the fourth wall and put him in as Edward Norton.
Oh my gosh! You know what? That would be pretty awesome. Yeah, but overall, like just going off first, like initial reactions, I think it's out of the three, it's definitely my second favorite so far. With it'll be episode 2, then episode 3, and then episode 1. But I did like episode 1. It's just, the stories that we're telling right now, it seems that they're getting deeper and deeper into, this web of,
taking more risks.
Yeah, definitely taking more risks, which is always welcome with something I really, really like that they're doing. But yeah, you ready to get into spoilers? Because I feel like we're pretty much at that point right now.
Yeah, we got to solve this mystery.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is your first spoiler warning for What If Episode 3 again. That is your second spoiler warning for the episode. So if you haven't seen it, turn this off, go watch it, and come back and listen to the rest of our review. So, Devin, Spoiler alert.
Ant-Man is the most powerful human in the universe.
Yes, he is.
I guess specifically Pimtech, but
Pimtech. So we find out, through all this guessing and whatnot, because it seems like there's like an invisible man in the room. And I don't know why I didn't pick up on this earlier. I don't think anyone really did, but it is Hank Pym, who is a more distraught Hank Pym, who is behind the killings of the Avenger, trying to get.
See, I picked up on like when the Hawkeye Clint Barton death when he was like in jail. I picked up on that like having to be Ant-Man, because how else was he going to die in a prison cell alone? But they didn't give me enough to put together that it was Hank Pym specifically because in this universe Hope Van Dyne killed any mission.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we don't have that information.
Right. Yeah. That is very true. And I don't know why I didn't think that, because I guess Ant-Man is like the last person that you would actually think. But I mean, I at first was like, oh, like that's a nice little surprise. But honestly, the surprise of Captain Marvel at the very, very end was more of a surprise than anything else.
It's always Fury's backup plan.
Always, because when and you know, I guess putting away or moving aside the big reveal really quick and fast forwarding to the end when Fury has the pager, and then like at first I was like, oh, he's gonna call Captain Carter, and then I was like, wait, no, Coulson said he's like, is that a pager from the 90s? And I was like, oh no, that's Captain Marvel for sure. But okay, moving that sidebar along and going back to the major reveal, it did feel just like a bit hollow. I did enjoy the journey in and of itself. It was
he looked really, really cool in his like disheveled, like crazy-eyed version. He just looked like a madman.
Yeah, and you know, a man who's distraught, and you know, he obviously lost his wife and then lost his daughter due to.
I just wish they would have given like one breadcrumb, and like in the beginning of the episode, like show that Hope Van Dyne is dead, or like show that Hank Pym is grieving, or something like that. Just
do you think that would have been too
together.
predictable? Like because I feel like we would have guessed who it is at the like halfway through the episode. Not even.
I don't know. It's either give one little breadcrumb or you give nothing, and then it's impossible to guess.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah, because that is very, very. Or if they made like a subtle, just like past line,
just like a newspaper heading that Hope Van Dyne like memorial.
Yeah, yeah. Much like, you know, with our Night House review when you know, Rebecca Hall's character like casually mentions that, you know, she was technically dead for 4 minutes, and then that ends up being like a payoff. But yeah, there really wasn't much of a payoff as to who it could be, because I just for a second I thought it was Ghost from Ant-Man 2, because I'm like, okay, that's the only other person besides me, not thinking about, you know, the whole Ant-Man crew. That's like the only other person I can think of.
What if it was Sue Storm?
Oh, you know what? That would have been very interesting and very hard to explain why she's killing the Avengers.
Yeah, or how she's killing the Avengers. 'Cause I don't know her exact power level, but I don't think she's that powerful.
Hey man, I never or Jean Grey. Jean Grey, there you go. Turning herself invisible. See here we are talking about Fantastic Four and X-Men, and neither of them are in the MCU yet. But you know, Marvel's working that magic, so just keep on checking. But yeah, it is very I don't want to say lackluster, like, oh, you know, like, oh, it was Hank Pym, like really? It was, yeah, it was the reasoning behind it. I was like, okay, so he wants to get back at Fury for, you know, his daughter dying under the service of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And it's kind of like, hey, you took something from me, no, I'm going to take even more from you. But it doesn't. But and then we also find out that oh my God, Samuel Jackson. You know, he has a nice little trick up his sleeve, because after Thor dies, you know, Loki comes to Earth. He's ready to, you know, talk shop and just set up shop and take over. And, you know, Fury's like, hey, you know, like, give me some time to figure out who this person is, because, you know, they're killing a lot of my men as well. So, you know, we can work together. And, you know, Tom Hiddleston being Tom Hiddleston, it works every time. I'm like, man, oh man, can't believe that he actually auditioned for Thor to begin with. It just blows my mind.
It looked so weird. He's so scrawny.
Very, very scrawny. But yeah, like this is a different Loki, a variant, if you will. And, you know, he rolls up to Earth, the whole squad, and it's like, hey, he's like, what up? You know, like, you killed my brother. And this is Loki that seems that, you know, he cares more for Thor than our Loki. I mean, our Loki does care for Thor, but he doesn't show it as much. But this one was full out, you know, all there. But it overall, like the episode, I really did think it was pretty cool. What did you think of like Hulk like imploding essentially?
That was insane.
Was not
Like,
expecting
it's
that at
just
all.
trying to think about how to even kill Hulk in the first place is hard enough.
Just go up the butthole.
I guess they implied that they like shot a Pym particle dart into his heart and then exploded him from the inside out.
Yeah. And like Ant-Man was inside of that. And the same thing with Tony, that, you know, the solution in the syringe was there, but it seemed that something was blocking it prior. And that's when, you know, Ant-Man kind of just made his little great escape. But we really,
I like kind of, this episode's like a reassurance for like the overall universe for Ant-Man, like in that group of characters, because they definitely get disrespected in the grand scheme of things for the MCU.
yeah.
I think they're just like throwaway movies that no one really cares about. But
I can name so many other throwaway movies in the MCU over Ant-Man. I'm sorry.
It just shows how important they are, because Pym Tech and the Quantum Verse are huge parts of the MCU.
Honestly, and we were talking about this last night on Geekly Goods. If Quantum Mania hits, it could be one of the best trilogies of the MCU. Like the entire, not the best, it's one of the best.
It's just tough because Thor only has Ragnarok.
Yeah. And then we still have to see what Guardians Volume 3. But now, you know, we're getting a Thor 4 and we're getting Captain America 4. So it's like, that also kind of like, are they just going to stop at 4 and then eventually pass the torch on to these others? I feel like 4 is a good place to stop for a lot of these. Like if there is a story to tell, if there is something more to tell more, you know, go past 3, but no more than 4. Yeah, because it's like, I mean, like if you're doing 5, like I feel like this is milking it at that point. Like, I mean, 4 is pushing it, but we'll see where it goes for sure. But yeah, this episode, sorry, got a little sidetracked there, but you know, this episode, I overall, like, I'll just give my overall thoughts now. You know, I did like it a lot. You know, like I'm really, really digging this this art style as I've mentioned before, and I'm just excited for, you know, the next. We got 9 episodes, so we got what, 6 more weeks of this, and I think this might clash into Star Wars Visions, if I'm not mistaken. I think. I don't know. I got to ask around. But let's give our actual ratings here so we can actually move on to the rest of the after show. So, Devin, what would you give What If Episode 3?
I'm going to go with a strong 78. It didn't blow me away, but I was entertained throughout. Just kind of a solid entry.
Yeah. So, I give that about a C+ in my books as well. Probably, 78 sounds actually really, really good. Like, let me know, like, much like you said, and, you know, like, we're just in agreement here, and, like, much like last episode, I think I liked the first episode a little bit more than Devin did, but, just because I'm a huge fan of Brits, so, but yeah, you know, for episode,
drink tea.
I do drink tea. I put creamer, not creamer.
A spot of tea.
Spot of tea. I've got English breakfast. I got green tea. I got black tea. I got the Irish tea. It's absolutely brilliant. But, you know, so just my love for the British culture. But, the third episode, I thought it did a pretty solid job. You know, I can't say it like dipped in quality, or like maybe just dipped around that little reveal that they did. But you know, he did a great job, and you know, he looked amazing. You know, he looked different from, you know, the Ant-Man that we know, and you know, just this distraught Hank Pym, who, like, you know, he's lost his entire family, and you know, he has nothing but S.H.I.E.L.D. to blame. So it is what it is. But yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. continues to have very sketchy.
Yeah, very, very sketchy patterns. Absolutely. But that pretty much concludes our episode review of What If Episode 3. So, Devin, we're going to get into the after talk, the after credits, we got some nice little news pieces here to talk about. We have a lot of Spider-Man news and Venom news and a bit of Netflix news coming up right after this short break. Y'all, we're back with our topics, our after credit topics of the show. We have a lot of Spider-Man news to talk about, man. Oh my
Time
gosh.
to talk about the biggest trailer ever released.
Yes, the biggest trailer ever released. And for those of you who do not know, us cinephiles out there have been, and all these Spider-Man Marvel superhero fans out there have been waiting so long for the first trailer. Technically, they say it's a teaser trailer, but I'm sorry, a teaser trailer isn't 3 minutes long. But the first trailer for Spider-Man No Way Home is finally here. Very excited. Like, oh my gosh, we were gushing over this all last night over on the Geekly Goods YouTube channel with Leo and the rest of the gang over there. And man, oh man, Devin, I mean, I've been talking about it nonstop. I do want to get your thoughts. So I'm going to let you, talk here and just give your overall thoughts about the trailer and what you're expecting and how would you rate this trailer? Like, is this trailer enough to get you through to December?
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of giving us a couple treats here and there, but not blowing their load completely. Pardon my phrasing, but they because they I really hope they don't show Andrew or Toby at any point in any trailer, just because that needs to be under wraps until the movie. Like, that's too big of a reveal. But it was nice of them to show the pumpkin bomb, Green Goblin back. We got our boy back, and then also, of course, Doc Ock at the end, looking nice and svelte. He's looking good these days.
Yes. Well, yeah. The de-aging technology was very, there, but man, I just get like, I got the biggest chills when I heard the Green Goblin, like, laugh. That cackle. Yeah. And then, oh man, when we saw those mechanical arms, I said, the man is back. Doc Ock is back. Man, oh man! But
and he recognized some kind of Peter. Don't know if it was ours or not.
Yeah, we don't know if it was ours or not. But the entire trailer, for those who don't know, definitely go check it out. But it leaves off after the events of Far From Home, which I was really nervous of how they were going to tackle that and just how they were going to spring into a new story.
Yeah, it looks like it just jumps off right from the end. Of Far From Home.
So far, between Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I really do love those movies. Say what you will about Spider-Man 3. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. Definitely not my favorite Spider-Man movie, but it is something I can definitely watch like nonstop. But that really did tell, like, as messy as Spider-Man 3 was, it did tell a cohesive beginning, middle, and end for Peter. And I feel like with these with the, I guess you can call it the Spider-Man Home trilogy. I guess that's what you would dub it, or something like that.
Yeah.
I do feel like this is just it's just as cohesive as of so far. We haven't seen No Way Home yet, but we definitely will. Man, oh man. But yeah, not only Doc Ock and the Goblin, we saw glimpses of Electro's lightning bolt. Thank God it is yellow this time around. Like, was not feeling the Amazing Spider-Man 2. And you know what? And that's the only Spider-Man movie I guess I wouldn't really count Venom as a Spider-Man movie because Spider-Man's not there at all, even though it is Spider-Man villains. But The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the only one I don't own on Blu-ray. I mean, I probably should, just because it is Spider-Man, but it's like, I'm kind of over the whole like owning movies, even though I don't necessarily like them phase, but it is Spider-Man and he is my favorite hero. So it's like, I feel like I'm obligated, but I will never buy Venom. Never. But,
so you would buy Amazing Spider-Man 2 over Venom?
You know what? Venom is better.
I think Venom. Yeah, I was gonna say.
Venom is better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. But Man, oh man. If you know what, it's only for Tom Hardy. I'll do it for him and no one else. No one. But yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Venom is definitely better than this Amazing Spider-Man 2. But sorry, guys, back to the trailer. You know, we have a nice little surprises here and there. Like we said, Doc Ock, Green Goblin, Electro's, Thunderbolt, Firebolt, Pikachu, whatever you want to call it.
There was also a lizard appearance that some people saw in one tiny frame somehow.
Yeah, so people are thinking that is the lizard. It could also be Scorpion. So let's not.
Yeah, that's my guess because they've already introduced Scorpion.
Yeah, because he's the only one who hasn't necessarily made like an appearance besides Craven or Rhino, which I would love to see Rhino in this movie. Like that would be really cool. But it finally looks like Sony's getting their Sinister Six movie, and I said this on the Geekly Goods channel last night. It's very I feel like Sony bought the film Rise of Spider-Man for the sole purpose of getting their Sinister Six movie, because every single iteration of Spider-Man that we've had, they've always been trying to lead up to the Sinister Six, and it just doesn't happen. It never does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him. Sinister Six is always entertaining.
Yeah.
Especially in the game.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. In the Spider-Man PS4 game, definitely the best Spider-Man movie I've ever played. Like, that should have been a movie. That was amazing. Absolutely amazing. And people are saying that they see glimpses of Sandman where it's Electro's bolt kind of like hitting the ground, but there's like sand kind of sort of like either spewing up from the ground or protecting or like kind of like canceling out those thunder strikes or lightning strikes, excuse me. But do you think Sandman shows up in this movie, like the actor from the original?
I mean, I think it would make sense to have one from each movie, because you have Green Goblin from Spider-Man 1.
Ooh. Oh, sorry, I was thinking Green Goblin from Amazing Spider-Man 2. My gosh,
no,
yeah.
not that one. You have Doc Ock from 2. You have Sandman from Spider-Man 3, and then Amazing Spider-Man 1. You have Lizard. Amazing Spider-Man 2. You have Electro, and then you can get either Vulture or Mysterio.
Yeah, but I feel like Mysterio's already had his due. So I don't think they're going to use Mysterio again, because during the beginning of the trailer, it's everything setting up like, okay, now everyone knows that Peter is Spider-Man, and MJ is by his side 100%. Like, now more than ever, he's going to need MJ. And they're kind of going through their spiel, and we see a glimpse of a lawyer in this midst.
I don't think it's him. That body type, it's not.
Oh man, just give me Charlie Cox and someone. I just want to see.
I think he will be in it, but I don't think that's him.
No. Yeah, like it could definitely be somebody else, but the man is going to need a lawyer, and there's no one better than Nelson and Murdoch. Let me tell you. But yeah, I do agree. I just want him. He doesn't even have to appear as Daredevil. I just want Charlie Cox in this movie. That is like my number one request. But
there's also one frame that people pointed out that I think might be Miles Morales' mom.
Which one is that? Which frame would that be?
She's like in a car and Peter's talking to her.
Oh, so we were talking about this last night. We actually think Peter there, like when he's kind of looking away from the car, we think that's a stand-in for Tobey Maguire.
The black lady?
No, Peter. Like, so you think
that's different Peter?
That ends after we see Doc Ock where he says hello Parker, where he kind of makes that stance. That, my friends, is a Tobey Maguire stance. That is a Tobey Maguire stance of Spider-Man. I also think that's a stand-in for Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man. I don't think that's Tom Holland's Peter facing that Spider-Man or facing.
Yeah, I don't think the other two Spider-Men will be in the movie very long.
I don't, because we don't know when these villains show up, and the wish that which we actually almost forgot to mention, the wish that Parker or Peter makes, now that everyone knows the secret, he wants to keep it under wraps. This has been done in the comics a few times. Some people really, really like it. Others, not so much. I think it's a really interesting concept because out of every,
I just need to know what the hell Doctor Strange is doing.
Yeah. Do you think it's Mephisto? Because the sanctum was looking pretty frosty. And I think that's a signal for
the obvious conclusion.
Yeah, and obvious. But I was thinking more of, like it's frosty in there. He's all bundled up. I think he's also
looking very happy.
He is.
He should be, because there's a lot going on in the MCU. He should be in
peril. He should be stressed out.
Yeah.
But it looks
he's just smiling, drinking coffee, chilling.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like hell has literally frozen over.
See, I think it could be Mephisto, but that's just another
Mephisto.
You're just backing yourself into the same corner of having too much going on in one movie.
Honestly, dude, and we were talking about this last night. I think this movie has to be at least 2 hours and 35 minutes in order for it to work. At least, maybe pushing 240. Like, it seems like there's a lot happening in this trailer, but like we have enough to keep us fed for now. Like, honestly, I would be okay with not having another trailer at all. But let's move on here because we do have a few more topics we got to cover before we can get out of here. And another Spider-Man No Way Home, really, really quick. It has shattered the Avengers Endgame trailer viewership within a 24-hour period, which is huge.
If you think about it, this is Spider-Man's Endgame.
It really is.
The culmination of 3 phases of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really hoping he stays in more so than ever, but it looks like the trailer all-time record for most global views in the first 24 hours was 355.5 million views. That far surpasses the views of Endgame, which picked up around 289 million views. So yeah, it's definitely surpassed it for sure. That is freaking insane. So it's man, oh man, I can't even, this is all according to Sony Pictures. It's also earned the most mentions on social media of any movie preview over the first 24 hours with 4.5 million mentions worldwide. Domestically, No Way Home drew in 2.91 million mentions over a 24-hour period, nearly doubling the 1.9 million mentions over the same period for Avengers Endgame trailer. So everyone's been clamoring for this stuff, man. It's Spider-Man. Personally, I feel like they dropped the ball a little bit with, making us wait this late. But it's here. It's here now, and they could have done it on Spider-Man Day. Would have been the best day to do it. But they kind of showed it at CinemaCon, or they could have showed it on Tom Holland's birthday. So there's always that. I was actually a little worried during CinemaCon that they were going to show the Uncharted movie trailer over Spider-Man, but here we are. Very, very excited. But you want to take these next two, Devin. I know how much you love Sony's Spider-Man universe, so I'm going to let you take these last two.
I actually don't have the
oh,
notes.
You don't? Oh my gosh, Devin, let me send that over to you right away. I thought I sent it to you. That's okay. So I'll just start off with this one, and then once Devin gets it, he'll jump in. So we officially have a renaming of of the Spider-Man universe of Marvel characters. They have
anything's better than that.
Anything, and the acronyms is SPUMC. So Sony reveals its official title for the non-MCU Marvel films, riding out the coattails there a little bit, but it looks like it is. This one's a lot better. It's Sony's Spider-Man universe, which is
nice and clean.
Way cleaner than SPUMC. SSU. All aboard the SSU. Or the SSMU. So Sony Spider-Man universe. Yeah, Yeah, I guess you could say Spider-Man all in one word, but yeah, very. I like how they cleaned it up. Definitely, they renamed this for a reason because they want to have a Marvel universe, a cinematic universe, but it's all with Spider-Man characters. But we have yet to see Spider-Man in any of their films. Because we got Venom, we get Venom 2, and so for some reason, we're having Jared Leto play Morbius, but that's fine too. I think they're also doing a Kraven the Hunter film, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor Johnson.
That's right. That's right. See, that I'm kind of interested in. But, as I've said before, it's just always hard to mess with Sony Pictures productions, full on Sony led. But we'll just have to wait and see there. But congratulations for actually, having that name change, because that was a pain to say. Because SPUMC, Spump. Yeah, I mean SPUMC to say no, I'm sorry, but nobody's remembering that. Like DCEU, I got it. MCU, I got it. Now it's SSMU. I guess I got it. Yeah, it's all good. But anyway, Devin, we have our next topic here. I'm gonna let you take this off, and then I'll close out with the last two.
Breaking news: nobody knows when Venom's coming in. Apparently, it's not being moved from the October release date, which makes no sense because it's competing with Halloween, which is a very strong October release.
Yeah,
it's just weird.
It is weird, but to be fair, the first Venom did make over $1 billion in the box office, so that's probably why. But I mean, I kind of just want it to be out just so we can watch it, get it out of the way, and move on with our lives, because we got other superhero movies looking forward to next year. And honestly, I'm definitely going to go see Halloween Kills before I go see Venom. So Venom 2. But yeah, so it was rumored that it was being removed from its October release date because of the trailer that dropped. And it just kept saying this fall. And they didn't give a specific release date. But it looks, I really don't know if Sony's on board. I don't know how true the, they want more people to get vaccinated before the movies get, released. But I'm dude, if this is during COVID, you just need to rip the Band-Aid off and have these movies come out in theater. Whatever way that you're going to release this film on whatever medium, your people aren't just gonna automatically come back to the theater full force. Because honestly, prior to the pandemic, I mean, there were people going to the theaters, but it was nowhere near as much as when we were growing up. Not a lot of people go to the theaters just in general, but now it is more so than not. People just going out for the big blockbusters and watching the other titles at home, which is totally fine. Everyone has their own method. I've honestly been more guilty of that too. Honestly, it's when it comes to Dune, Shang-Chi, Spider-Man movies, if there's a movie I really want to see in theaters, I will go out on my way to go see it in theaters. But movies like Reminiscence, I'm watching that at home.
Good luck.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm watching that at home. And I watched what was it? Oh my gosh, that Jared Leto movie earlier in the year, that cop kind of detective thing, and the Angelina Jolie.
That snooze fest.
Yeah, that was really, really boring. I was there's no way I'm seeing that in theaters. I'm sorry. I'd rather just, I can turn it off when I want and move on with my day. And then the Angelina Jolie movie, which I thought it was all right. But yeah, like I said, it's just for smaller, not even for smaller titles, because there are some small titles I do want to see on the big screen, but it boils down to just interest. So I hope that Sony kind of just rips the Band-Aid off and it's hey, there's no way they're moving Spider-Man. They cannot move Spider-Man No Way Home. There's no way. It would cause so much. That is probably between that and Doom, those are my two most anticipated movies of the year. Definitely. A little bit more so Spider-Man over Dune, but I mean, if they move that is, my God, that's a slap in the face. I can't do it. Anyway, let's move on here so we can get out of here. So the last two news things on our docket. Well, there's just a little few Netflix updates. We have Netflix's Cowboy Bebop live action series is set to premiere on November 19th of this year. Very, very excited for that, for all my anime lovers. Devin, I'm telling you, you got to check it out. It's a great space cowboy opera. Honestly, the original series is not long at all. Like, it doesn't even break like 100 episodes. I think it's around like 60, I want to say. I could be wrong. Could be less than that. But definitely a great series. And we also have the the film starring Jonathan Majors, Idris Elba, and Regina King, and the gun-slaying western, The Harder They Fall, lands on Netflix November 3rd. It's going to be that. I'm very excited. Like, I mean, stacked cast. I love westerns, period pieces. It's all there. It is a perfect mix for me. So those are our last little two news dockets on the list today. And that pretty much concludes today's episode of the Film Optix podcast. Of course, Devin, thank you as always for coming on. And for everyone out there, if you haven't seen, oh my gosh, go watch the Suicide Squad. Go watch The Night House. We have a review up of that up on the podcast right now as well. And you know what? If you've been watching Titans, let me know over on, or Titans season 3, over on our Twitter page, Film Optix. That is Optix with an X. And what's coming up on the pod for us, you ask? So we actually have a few things on the docket. We're going to be releasing our Candyman review that will be coming out this coming up Monday on the, oh my gosh, today's the 25th. So it's going to be coming out on Monday, the 30th. We're going to go see that tomorrow. As this is dropping, we're seeing it that day because since this is dropping on a Thursday. And then we have Shang-Chi the following week. And of course, we're always going to be keeping up with the week-to-week releases of Marvel's What If. And we also have our secret project that we will be releasing probably, I think, during Shang-Chi. Actually, maybe during Candyman. But also, you can check me out. I will be on the In Session Film podcast, talking all things Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring, for its 10th anniversary. My God, it's been forever. And they're also going to be talking some Candyman over there as well. So we got Candyman and Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring on the In Session Film podcast. I believe that will be dropping sometime next week. So that will be a lot of fun to dig into. Devin, any last remarks before we get out of here?
Candyman.
Nope.
Candyman.
Nope. Okay. All right, everyone. We'll see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys next time.